Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel Radcrochet. Today I'm going to be showing you how to do a solid granny square. For this I'll be using a 3mm hook and I'll be using cotton yarn by Paintbox. I'll leave a link in the description below on where you can get this. So let's begin. For this we're going to start with a magic loop. So I'm going to demonstrate this quickly to you, but I've already done a tutorial on it. You're going to cross the yarn over your fingers like so, put your hook under the bottom yarn and pull the top yarn through, make a loop and grab your working thread and pull it through the loop. I've got a tutorial specifically on this and it's called how to create a magic loop. So what we have here is one chain already, or what looks like a chain already. So we're just going to chain 2 more. So this gives us our first double crochet, and now we're going to make a corner. So for our corner we're going to chain 2 more. 1, 2. This gives us a total of 5. Now what you're going to do is double crochet 3 into this loop here. So 1, 2, and 3. So we have now reached our second corner, and for our second corner we're going to chain 2 more. 1, 2, and now we're going to double crochet another 3. 1, 2, and 3. We are now at our third corner. So this is our first corner, this is our second corner, we're now at our third corner, so we'll chain 2. We're now going to double crochet another 3 into this loop. 1, 2, and 3. We have now reached our fourth corner. 1, 2, 3, and for our fourth corner we're going to chain 2 more. 1, 2. Now because we started with our 3 chains, which we count as our 1 double crochet, for the last part of this we're only going to chain double crochet 2 more. So 2 more and this will count as a third. So 1 and 2. We are now going to slip stitch onto top of the third chain from here. So 1, 2, 3. I'm going to put my hook in there. So I'm just going to bring this closer to the camera. 1, 2, 3. I'm just going to put my hook in here. There's a little V at the top. That's how you know if you're putting it through the right chain. And you're going to slip stitch. We're now just going to tighten our center so you can see our square starting to form. Now we've got a tiny square here. Now this is the base of our solid granny square. We're now going to move on to round 2 even. We're not going to change colors yet. I just want to explain round 2. So for round 2, it's better if I show you it now how this is going to work. So when we get to round 2, it's going to be easier to understand. So in the corners, we're always going to double crochet, chain 2, and double crochet. In every corner, that's going to be the case. It's what we do in between that will help us make it a solid square. So for round 2, we've got 1 chain space here, we've got 1 chain space here, and 1 chain space here. These are the 3 chain spaces we're going to be working into. So I'll demonstrate that for you now. So to start round 2, because we are at a corner already, this is our corner, because we are at a corner already, we're going to start with a chain 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going to do 1 double crochet into that corner, and then we're going to chain 2, 1, 2 for a corner, and then we're going to double crochet 2 more, 1 and 2. Now when you get to this bit, it might be hard to find that 3rd stitch, so when you look over, here's our corner, but you might only see chain 1, and chain 2. So what you need to do is pull this to the side, and then you'll spot the 3rd one. The 3rd one will always be quite a tight one, so you might need to pull to find it. So we're going to double crochet into that one, which is very hidden, but you'll have to find it in order to make a solid granny square. So 1, top of the next chain, 2, and then, cotton yarn's always a bit difficult to work with. So 1, 2, and 3. We have now reached a corner. So let me just do my 3rd one. We have now reached a corner. So what we're going to do, I'll just demonstrate it one more time, is double crochet 2, chain 2, and double crochet. So double crochet 2, chain 2, 1, 2, and then double crochet 1 and 2. Right, so now we've moved on to this side, and you're going to just pull this back so you can see the chains we're going to work into is, here's 1. I just undid that. Let me just do that quickly, then I'll show you. So sorry, but we all make mistakes, and I'm not going to edit these out because no one's really perfect. I like to leave my mistakes in here just to show you that even I make mistakes too. Especially with cotton yarn, because cotton yarn is quite difficult to work with. So that was our 2nd double crochet for the corner. Now we're going to move on to the chains. Now I just want to show you very quickly. This is the 1st chain we're going to work into. This is the 2nd chain. And this is the 3rd chain. I'll show you those quickly, then I'll pause the video, and then I'll complete the round and come back to you. So 1 double crochet into that chain, 1 double crochet into that chain, and 1 double crochet into that chain. So now we've reached a corner where you'll do 2 double crochets, 2 chains, and 2 double crochets. So I'm going to let you carry on. I'll pause the video and I'll meet you at the end of this round. Right, we are back. I'm approaching the end, but I'll show you how to complete this one before I show you how to finish. So I'm going to pull this back. My 1st one, double crochet, will go into that chain as usual, the one that's normally quite difficult to find. The 2nd one will go over here as usual, and it's the last one that I wanted to show you. The last one will just work into here, so right in there. We are now going to slip stitch on top of the 3rd chain and join. So just so you know where I'm slip stitching into, 1, 2, 3, it will be right here. Right, so now I'm going to slip stitch into top of the 3rd chain. And now we're also going to just change colors. So what I'm going to do is snip this off. And once I've snipped it off, I'm just going to pull it through. And what I'm going to do, just to make this part look a bit cleaner, is I'm going to go from the back into this chain here. if I can, it might be a bit difficult, like so. Can you see? And then I'm just going to pull it through here so it looks a bit neater. You see? Like so. We're now going to go ahead and add another color in, which is this blue. So what I'm going to do is, instead of tying my knot anywhere around here, I'm actually just going to tie my knot in this here. So what you do to change colors is you bring your yarn, you just pull it through, you tie a knot like so. That's how I join my work on, but if you have another way, feel free to use that way. Right, to start round 2, because we're starting at a corner, we're just going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, double crochet into that corner. We're then going to chain 2 for the corner, and then double crochet 2 into that same space. 1, 2. Now what we're going to do is just pull this one back just to make sure we can find our chain space right here. It's well hidden. And what we're going to do is work 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 chains there, excluding the corners that we need to work into. So let's begin. 1, it's just double crocheting into these chains. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and our last one, it's 7. And then we've got a corner which we'll work into. 1, 2, then we're going to chain 2 to make our corner. 1, 2, double crochet 2 more into the same space. Oops. There's our second one, but I'm not particularly liking how this yarn is, but the results are beautiful, so I think it's totally worth working with it. Right, so we've made a corner. We've got a corner there, we've got a corner there. So this is how it's looking so far. You're going to follow the same all the way throughout, and I'm going to meet you at the end. So before we carry on, I wanted to explain to you how you turn this into a dishcloth or just a huge blanket if you wanted, and this is how it works. So I'm just going to bring this along quickly. So we started with 3 double crochets, and then our next row all together, so you count from here to here, was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then the next one was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So if you noticed, every time we're going to be doing an increase of 4. So the next round will be 11 plus 4, which is 15. So in each round, the magic number is 4. That's what we're going to do. We're going to add 4. So hopefully you understood this bit, but you're going to get to see it more as we continue on with our square. Also, I very quickly wanted to show you where we joined. It might be a bit awkward with the stitches there, so I just wanted to make sure you understood how to do the bit there. So we've done our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've done 6, and we need to make a few more. And in between here, we're supposed to have 7, but we only have 4. So let's see how we can go through this. So we'll put 1 into here. It was a very tiny chain space. We'll put one into here as well. Now let's see if we have the 7 that we need, and if not, we can always make space for it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've only got 6. We're supposed to have 7. So let's see. We haven't missed any stitches. I think it's just the way we've joined. So right on the end here, we're going to make space for it. So I'm just going to go into perhaps this space right here. We're going to make a space for it. This space right here. So then we get our 7th stitch. Right here. So what we've done is we've made space for our 7th stitch. We always need to make sure we have a good amount of number just to make sure we get a solid square. And then we're going to do the corner as usual. And just count up and make sure you have 11. So I'm going to count mine just to make sure I have 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Perfect. So now we can carry on. So we've reached the end of our square, our row even, and I'm going to slip stitch into the top of the 3rd of this. I like to go in the stitch after it so it's a bit more cleaner. And now I'm going to chain 1, 2, 3. As you can see, we're not in the corner this time, we're 1 stitch away, so let's move on to our corner now. Sorry, but before I move on to the corner, I just want to make sure we know where everything's going. So there'll be 2 here, and this will be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So actually we need to put 1 more stitch in here just to make sure we have 15. So that'll make it 15. I always like to count just before I start to make sure I'll have an even amount. So we will work another stitch into here. 2. And now we will start a corner. 1, 2. Make 2 chains and then 1, 2. So I always make sure that I pull back and work into that chain. Sometimes if you have less stitches, it might be because you forgot to pull back and work into that very hidden chain. So I'm going to continue and meet you at the end. Right, so I've reached the end of my round and I've counted all of these just to make sure I have 15 on each side. It's so crucial to count, otherwise you will get a wonky square. So now we're going to slip stitch and join on the 3rd chain from the chain 3 we did. And now I want to change colors. So what I'm going to do is snip this yarn off, pull that through, and I'm just going to go from the back and pull it, the thread through so it's at the back. Now where you join, it's always going to be awkward to find your double crochets over there. So I suggest if you're a beginner, maybe try not to play around with a color change and just get used to it. So like you can see here where we've joined, there's that awkwardness, whereas this, they're nice stitches. And hopefully when you advance and get a grasp of it a bit more, maybe you can try another color and see how comfortable you are with doing that. So I'm just going to demonstrate one more color for you. And this time I'm going to join somewhere here rather than in the corner. So I'm just going to go ahead, put my hook from the back and pull my thread through. Whoops. And pull my thread through like so. Come on, work with me. Work with me. Also, if you tried this project with acrylic yarn rather than cotton, I think for a beginner it'd be a lot more easier to work with because it's not as splitty as cotton. but I just prefer working with cotton. Hence, most of my tutorials are actually cotton. So we're just going to go in there and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Because we had 15 in this round, we're going to add 4. So that's 16, 17, 18, 19. We should have a total of 19. So I'm just going to demonstrate that quickly for you. So you're going to go ahead and do your usual thing. Just make sure you have 19, work into every chain space. You should be used to it by now. If not, just go back and practice in the other rounds. Also, did you know that you can slow YouTube videos down? On this video, there's 3 buttons on the top right, I think. If you click on that and go to playback speed, you could slow it right down. I'm going to stop here and just work around, but hopefully you should know what you're doing by now. So just add 4 every round, and I'll see you in a second. And when you've finished your last round and you've done your slip stitch and you've weaved in all the ends, this should be your end product. We have a very pretty square. And for beginners, I highly recommend not to do color changes. Just try in one color first. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and I'm hoping you'll give it a go. And I'm going to leave all my Instagram and Facebook links below so you can follow me if you wish. I will be releasing more tutorials, so click subscribe if you want to keep viewing my tutorials. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a great day.